Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to today's webinar. My name's Neil. I'm one of the trainers here at Centaur, and I'll be your host for today's session. Today we'll be discussing eAppointments. By the end of today's session, you'll have valuable insights on any of the key features of eAppointments. Just some quick housekeeping before we start. This session is being recorded. You'll receive an email in the coming days with a link to a recording of this session. Everybody is on listening mode. We encourage you to interact with us through the chat or the Q&A. So what I'd like to do to test that it's working, if you can put into the chat your name and where you're from, and just introduce yourself and maybe your role at the practice in the chat or the Q&A. Okay. So feel free to put any questions in, and we'll address them at the end in a Q&A session at the end of today's session. Hello, Phoebe and Carlos, Cheer and Liz. Hello, and Sue. Thank you for joining us today. Okay, what we'll be covering today. We'll be covering setting up a provider profile within eAppointments. We'll be setting up appointment reasons, managing promotions, and taking payments for online appointments. This is actually a new feature. We're also talking about linking eForms with eAppointments, managing patient and appointment conflicts in Dental4Windows, patient discovery, and also the analytical dashboards. So the first thing we're going to talk about is setting up a provider profile within eAppointments. So to do this, in the Appointments portal, we're going to click on the hamburger menu, and we're going to come down to Practice Management. Within Practice Management, we go to eAppointments Management. In here, we have Provider Profile. So here you'll have your surgery name and also your provider names. Today, we're going to have a look at Dr. Vicky. So on this page, you can upload a photograph. You can also enter in what languages are spoken. So you can type in languages, they're recommended ones, but you can also type in others as well. Then we have a box where you can put in an overview of the provider. This can be history, where they studied, where they've practiced, what countries, that sort of thing. Then you have qualifications where you can put in qualifications of the dentist or the provider. As we scroll down, we have details for internal use. These are used for our patient discovery partners, and we'll talk more about that a bit later. So you can put a tick in there if walk-ins are welcome, and you have the specialties. So you can tick or remove specialties in here so that when a patient goes on to one of our patient discovery partners, they can search for a particular type of provider. Next thing we're going to talk about is appointment reasons. So these are reasons that patients select of why they're making an appointment. We can also set a duration to that reason so that when they book an appointment for a particular reason, it will make an appointment for a certain period of time. So again, we click on the hamburger menu and we come down to practice management. And again, we're going into eAppointments management. Now we're going to go to provider's reason list. You've got here organization name and surgery name. Usually you would have one of each. Then we have the providers, so we're going to select Dr. Vicky again. Down the right-hand side, we have a list of reasons. We provide a certain number of reasons, but you can add your own. On the left-hand side, you'll see a list of reasons that have been selected and the duration of those reasons. And you can add, delete, or modify from this reasons list. If we click on the plus sign, you can now see we can set how long that reason is. So this one we're setting to 40 minutes, which means when they make an appointment for emergency, they will insert a 40-minute appointment into Dental4Windows. We can also add a fee. So you'll see that's now added in there as the reason for 40 minutes. So you can add a fee in there. You usually do this if that reason has a set fee, like a checkup and clean, for example. Then you repeat that for each provider. Okay. So now we're going to talk about promotions. So promotions is where you can have an appointment where the patient can select a particular promotion, which is linked to a reason. So again, that's done in the hamburger menu, practice management, and eAppointments management. This time we have promotions management. Any promotions that have been created will be listed here, which you can then edit or delete. We can create a new one. So you put in the name here, and this is what the patient will see. So you can see we're saying in-chair whitening. Then you would connect it to a reason. So for example, this one we would connect to our teeth whitening reason. Description here is for your benefit. It's not visible by the patient. You can then select which providers this relates to. So for example, if James Smith doesn't do teeth whitening, you can remove him from that. We then set the period. So this is where you set how long this promotion will last for. You can then set pricing. So you can set either a discount or a fixed price. If you do a discount, your appointment reason must have a price in it. And that's now created that promotion, which, as I said, we can delete or we can edit as well. Okay. And now you'll see they appear at the top of the screen. When the patient selects one of those, it will automatically select the reason. So now we're going to talk about payments for online booking. So as I mentioned, this is a new feature, and this allows you to take a deposit or prepayment when a patient makes a booking online. So for a special promotion, for example, you might say, I want that to be prepaid. The first thing we do in Dental4Windows is we need to set up email templates. When the patient books online, they'll receive an email telling them it's been successful. So in Mail Setup, we click on the category ePayments. You've got to payment and refund. So if we click on payment, we click on the pencil, and this is where we set up our template. The gray areas are input fields, and these are inserted from the database. So you can see there we've got appointment information and e-payment information. So once you've done that, you can also set the subject of what the patient will see in the subject line of their email. And we do the same with refund. So you can see we've set that one up as well. So the next step in eAppointments is we set up the deposits. So that's done in the hamburger menu, practice management, and we come to eAppointments management, and you'll have an option there saying deposit settings. What you do here is you select which provider you want the deposits taken for, and then you select the reasons which you're going to say, I want deposits taken for these. You can set a blank amount, so $50 for all reasons, or you can come down and you can modify the amount per reason. Okay. So now when the patient goes to book online, when they select one of those reasons that is linked to a payment, for example, we're saying consultation, when they click on the time, they're now going to receive a note saying a deposit of $50 will be charged after appointment confirmation. So we proceed, and this will now ask them to confirm and pay the deposit. This will now ask the patient to insert their credit card details. So the patient can tick the save card for future transactions if they don't want to enter their card details every time. So once they've entered their card details, they click pay to finish the process. So now the payment is being processed, and now payment successful. They will now be redirected back to the eAppointments page. What will happen now in Dental4Windows, the appointment will be inserted, but you'll see you've got the D status, which means appointment has been paid. So if we go into the receipts page, you will now see a receipt has been created as a deposit. Now, if the patient no-shows or has to cancel, well, first of all, sorry, you get an email saying the payment has been successful. Now, if the patient has to cancel their appointment, a refund can be done for that payment. This can be done in one of two ways. From the appointment book, you can cancel the appointment. So if we right-click and we move or copy to cancellation list. So it will ask you then, once you do that, it will ask you, do you want to keep the refund, or sorry, to keep the deposit or cancel and refund? If you cancel and retain, it'll still keep the deposit there to use on a future invoice. If we say cancel and refund, it will now refund the patient. So now you select the reason and put in notes if you wish. Once we click OK, it will now process. Once we say yes, we'll process the refund. and if required, enter in a username and password. So now the refund has been processed. And the patient will receive an email saying the refund has been processed. The refund can also be done from Receipts tab. So if you go into the patient record and then into Receipts, we can now go to the Receipts drop-down and New Refund. Put in username and password, and once you click OK, you'll get the message saying it's going to send it as a refund to ePayments. Okay. Okay, so that's now done. And again, the patient will receive an email saying the refund has been processed. Okay, so I'm going to launch a poll now. No, it's not letting me, sorry. Okay, if you can put in the chat, do you have eForms? Perfect. So I can see quite a few of you there have eForms. Wonderful. So what you can do with eAppointments is you can link eAppointments with eForms. So basically what that means is if you have a patient create an appointment and they're a new patient, you can tell them that they'll direct to the new patient registration form straight away. Okay. So what we do is once the form has been published, we click on the copy link, and then we go into our eAppointments. So we go back into Management, eAppointments Management, and then we come into Display Options. Oh, sorry, Liquid eForms, I'm sorry. Okay, so when we come in here, you'll see you've got enter URL of registration form and URL of medical update form. So once you enter those into there, once you enter in the update medical form, you can actually tell it how many days between needing to fill them out. So for example, if you want it every 6 months, you might put in 180 days. And if we tick to suggest fill out a form, it will then say, please, we're directing you to a form to fill in now. Okay. So that's done. Now, when they make the appointment, if they match any of that criteria, they will now be sent. So now we're going to manage patient and appointment conflicts. So at the top of the screen, you'll see we've got eAppointments and ePatients in red. So the red icon there means we've got appointment conflicts. So eAppointments is where patients have booked online. So what we recommend is highlighting these and marking them as processed. So you'll see that it has all the details of the appointment that has been made. Once we mark as processed, it will turn purple. This is basically you acknowledging that it's been created. Appointment conflicts. This can occur If the time between the patient clicking on the time available and processing, within that time frame, the appointment has been taken by another patient on the phone, for example. So when they do that, an SMS can be sent to them saying, it's no longer available, please try again, something along those lines. Then we have patient conflicts. So this is the red icon there. What that compares with is any patient who's put their details in, so name, date of birth, mobile number, email address, and matches against everything in patients in the database. If it's matched some patients, it'll bring it up there and you can say merge to existing patient. Or you can say keep new patient if it is a different patient. So if we say merge to existing patient, it will now ask us, do you want to update particular fields? So you can see here that the details in Dental4Windows is different to what was entered in the appointment. At this point, you can click on Update, and when you click Assign and Update Selected, that will update the patient's record in Dental4Windows. Once you've done that to all patients, the red icon at the top will disappear. So Assign Without Update will change it, will update the record without updating any of those details, but it will link it with that patient. So once we've done that, that will disappear. Okay. So now we're going to talk a bit about patient discovery. So patient discovery is a system that we have set up with some partners. Now these partners are, main one would be HotDoc. But what they allow you to do is to find new patients through those ones. So our affiliates are HotDoc, HealthShare, My Health First, Hum, NDP, and dentist.com.au. So it allows patients to go to those platforms, look for a dentist near me, you come up, and then the patient goes and books an appointment. If they're a new patient, they will come through to you under patient discovery. In the eAppointments portal, we can do a report on patients that have come from there. If we go to Analytical Dashboards, we go to D4W Connected. In here, you would set what time frame you want to do the report on. You would then select your surgery name and you can click Retrieve. So here now you'll see you've got appointment source for these appointments. The ones marked as NDP have come from patient discovery. We can filter those, and now we've got those ones. Yeah. Okay, so I can see we have a few questions showing there. Chris has asked, do they have to have an account on the appointments, or can they do it as easy as when they make the appointment? So in most cases, Chris, yes, we can set up with easy booking mode, which means they do not need to have an account in eAppointments. However, if you wish to use the e-payment feature, the patient does need to have an account in eAppointments. Liz, I can see you're saying you have some issues with eAppointments, with HotDoc, sorry. I'll get our guys to have a look at that for you. If you can send an email to support@centralsoftware.com with your name and your practice ID, and we can get our guys to have a look at that for you. Imran has set up eAppointments for a website, not using eForms as yet. So with the website, you can set up the available times to book by the website. So as part of the eAppointments, we have a consultation where we help you set that up. So we will go through with you in a one-on-one session how to set up your dates, your different time slots, your different reasons, and etc. And in terms of flexibility, you can set all those up yourself easily. And we can discuss that if you'd like to send us through an email or let me know your customer number. And then we can certainly do that for you, help you with that. So and Imran has also asked how to avoid double booking with eAppointments versus Health Engine or patient discovery versus on-phone bookings. So basically, if you're having a patient on the phone and you're making an appointment for a patient, and at the same time a patient is booking online, if the appointment is made first on your Dental4Windows with the patient on the phone, the one that the patient is doing online will be rejected, and they'll get an SMS saying it's no longer available. Likewise, if you're booking yourself online on the front and someone books online, it'll insert in the book and you'll see that it's no longer available. So Sue has asked, do you have to pay a fee to be partnered with the Discovery partners? So there is a fee for each patient that comes through to you from Patient Discovery, and that is $59 per patient. If the patient no-shows, for example, you run that report that I showed with the appointment source, and when you receive an email from Patient Discovery, you can then lodge a request to be credited for that one that didn't show. So Rompy has asked, can deposits for an appointment be kept as FTA late cancellation fee? They certainly can. So if you cancel from the appointment book, you can say, do not retain the deposit. And then that way it'll stay in Dental4Windows as a deposit. And if you want to create an invoice with an item number called late fee and assign the payment to that invoice, you can certainly do it that way. And in the email that the patient is sent, you can certainly put in that the deposit will be kept if cancelled within 24 hours. You can certainly do that in the email. So Chris has also asked, if we put multiple eAppointment slots, it still allows patients to book times we haven't allocated. So I'd recommend speaking to our support department or making an appointment with myself. It most likely sounds as though your system is set to free time, which means all white space is available, not only preset slots. So Sue has asked, our hygiene appointments are 50 minutes, but we seem to have trouble with making these work in the appointment book. So with the appointment book, you can use designated preset slots. So at the moment, I dare say, Sue, your system is set up to free time as well, which means all white space is available. However, you can have your system set up to preset slots only, and we can certainly help you with that. And therefore, you can then say a preset slot per reason. So you can have a preset slot set as hygiene, which means the patient can only book that time if they select hygiene as a reason. And we can help you set that up. So Mike has asked, why can't you have easy booking and request deposits? That's the way it was designed. I can't answer that one. So Anna has asked, where can I hear this webinar again? You'll receive an email with a link to this recording. So Health Engine versus Patient Discovery. Health Engine is not a patient discovery partner. So when they go onto Health Engine, it will just insert the appointment into Dental4Windows. Okay. So that's pretty much all the questions we have here at the moment. So if you can tell me your site number, Sue, we can reach out to you. So Imran has asked Practica e-appointment. We might just speak of that offline. I'm not 100% sure what you're referring to there, Imran. Okay. Chris, if you can tell me your customer reference number. Thank you. So we can reach out and we can arrange a time with you. And Sue, if you could tell me your customer reference number as well, and I can certainly arrange that for you as well. So Chris has asked, is it possible that pre-booked production slots are considered white space? It really depends on the setting in Dental4Windows. So if you have your system set up to white space or free time, then it will not look at preset slots or any slots taken. There is an option to say white space and preset slots, which may be what you're set up as, which means it'll look at white space and preset slots. That's something we can certainly discuss in a session with you. I would say by the sound of it, you would want your system set up to preset slots only. What I will do, while we've got a little bit of time, I'm just going to launch my Dental4Windows. So I'm just launching my Dental4Windows for you. Okay. So in your Dental4Windows, if you go into your general settings, you have an option here called eServices. We then have types of slots for the sync, is what I'm referring to. So you have three options of free time only, free time and preset slots, or preset slots only. So if you have it set to free time only, that means any white space in your appointment book will be available to book online. If, however, you set it up to be preset slots only preset slots that are created. So we create preset slot and we choose eAppointments. And then you can select a reason. So as we mentioned before, if you have a reason for hygiene, you could select hygiene as a reason. I'm going to select consultation. So when I do that, this slot here will only be available to book online. And the patient can only book online with this particular slot if they choose consultation as a reason. If you set it up, however, to preset slots and free time, that means that all white space as well as this will be available online. So let's say, Chris, that is maybe how your system is set up, if you're having both pre-booked and white space available in your eAppointments. The only reason you would select free time and preset slots is that this white space free time, they can book for any reason. Whereas this one, they would only book if they click consultation as a reason. But we can certainly talk more about that. Okay. So Sue has mentioned that she thinks that she can't select 50 minutes for a appointment duration. So if we go to options and we come down to set up eAppointments and we select books to sync, here we set a duration. So this duration is the slot duration for reasons. Your reasons are then set up in multiples of this time. So in this instance, we can book reasons for 30, 60, 90, etc. days. Minutes, sorry. So Sue, if you were to change this to 10 minutes, for example, if your books are 10-minute slots, you'd then be able to set up a reason for 50 minutes. You'd say 5 slots at 10 minutes each equals 50 minutes. If you set it to 15 minutes, your reasons can be set up as 15, 30, 45, etc. Okay. So Chris has also asked, if we have a 20-minute space and a 40-minute space after each other and set them up as 2 different ones, so set them up as 2 different appointment spots, can a patient book for 60 minutes or just 20 and 40? So the patient will see them online as the times available, and they can select whatever duration is required. Okay, so Sue has said that they are 10-minute slots, so we probably need to speak to you more, Sue, to have a look at what's going on. And I do have your customer number there. Thank you. Okay. Excuse me. So does anyone have any further questions at all? Okay. So Chris has asked, is there a way to make a 60-minute slot to only accept e-appointment that is 60 minutes in length? So the only way to do that would to have a 60-minute preset slot, but have your reason set up as 60 minutes. If you set appointment reason as 20 minutes, they can book within that 60-minute slot. Okay. Well, thank you everybody for attending. I hope that's been useful for you. We have some more resources available for you. We have eSupport. Within eSupport, there is a section on eServices, and there is also a section on eAppointments, which will give you more information. You can email our support department with any questions that you might have. And also there's more information on our website. But I'll reach out to you and we'll see what we can work out for you. Okay. All right. So Imran, if you can tell me your site reference number and we can arrange a time. All right. Okay. Otherwise, Imran, by all means, you can speak to our support department and they can help out or they can arrange to talk to me. Okay. Thank you. We should be able to find you with that, Imran. Okay. Thank you so much. Okay. Well, thank you for attending today. And I hope you found that beneficial. And you'll receive a recording to this in a few days with an email with a link. So thank you for attending today. And I hope you have the good rest of your day.